Up, everyone.
What's up, everybody?
It was going so smoothly with YouTube, and then we're getting notifications. I don't know if that's me or someone else, but hi, we're here, everyone. Can you tell?
Welcome to another straight up positive.
Yes, we started a consultant course today, guys. We had 19 folks for our current consulting course. So a new batch of 19 folks that'll be going through their mentoring and becoming PAC certified independent consultants. So if there's any of you watching tonight, put us in the chat below, please. Say hi, give us a little shout out.
Hey. Very cool. And speaking of that, next Tuesday, we are going to talk about one of the awesome things that consultants can use in their toolbox and get connected with PAC, which is that Care Partner Support Series. And Carolyn, actually our lead consultant for the Positive Approach to Care, is going to be on to share with us. So that'll be really cool. So for all you consultants who may be watching tonight, make sure you come on, and you maybe don't know about that Care Partner Support Series, or you've heard of it and you're curious. Make sure you join us next Tuesday for sure, because we will be talking about that.
Yes, Carolyn Lukert is like the grandmother of all things consulting in PAC, right? I don't think that's her official title, but she was rocking and rolling with that. So also, just if you've been through CPSS, our Care Partner Support Series, or teach our Care Partner Support Series, why don't you write in their comments below too, so we can get some love and prepare for Carolyn to be on next week.
Yeah, we've been having a good time with it with my family, so always looking forward to hear about that.
So it's really interesting. I can't wait to hear your perspective on it from a family point of view.
Right.
And also working for Positive Approach to Care. I think that'll be really interesting. So
yeah,
gonna give us some scoop next week, Carrie. Thank you.
You guys want to know what else we got going on?
I do. What else is going on?
PAC is just exploding during August. So once again, as always, thank you so much for watching us on YouTube, sharing our free content, subscribing, liking, commenting. We love giving this stuff away for free to help everybody. Next week, as Matthew was saying, we have Carolyn Lukert and also Cheryl Shire and Paula Levy coming in. Watch us next week on YouTube. Tomorrow, we are live on Facebook for Dementia Problem Solving. If you have questions for the team, you can email us at dps@deepasnow.com. And then I think the last webinar in July is this upcoming webinar, for the Relationships Guidebook. It's on July 29th between 2 and 3 p.m. Eastern. You can get this book, or if you already have the book, you can take the webinar. Here's our website address. Sign up for that.
Ooh, can I interject?
You can interject. What's up?
I was just thinking about you saying, Carrie, that that's our last webinar of July, and I want to share about one that's the day before.
Ooh, yeah.
And some of you may know about the one the day before, but some of you may not. We are having, for the early bird registrations for conference, there is a special hour with TIPA that is strictly for folks who signed up for our conference by July 5th. That was the big early bird date that we kept promoting. And so we have a webinar on the 28th for the almost 200 people who've already signed up for our conference. So that'll be super cool. But I just want to let you know that too, and I think you have this on your slides, I might be jumping ahead a bit, but you all should have gotten an email today, and we have some new incentives for not early bird anymore, but some incentives if you sign up in the next couple of weeks, maybe a month. I don't have the date in front of me, sorry about that, but there's still more to come. So keep on the watch for conference.
Yeah, I got that slide last. So also we have the enhanced trainer course coming up in August 13th, 27th. This is covering the Dementia Care Provisions Kit. So if you want to know more about that, you have to have already been certified as a trainer, and then you'll get all the scripts that we're building for the enhanced trainers going forward. Then also we've got 2 certifications and something special here. I think this is the last coach certification course at the end of August. Is that right, Matthew and Rebecca? I think
that is right. And Carrie, you know what? It's kind of like a parent, and I'm not a parent, so I'm not good at this skill, but like how parents aren't supposed to say they have a favorite. Like coach is my favorite of our certification courses. So I'm just saying, you guys, if you have not considered PAC coaching certification, please look into it. Ask someone on the team, email me. I would love to share it. I love those coaching skills, and I literally use them constantly. And we always talk about how it doesn't have to be with someone living with dementia or even in this niche. Like I use coaching skills with my nieces and nephews and my husband and with my team, right? And so, yes, I'm sad to see that's the last coaching course of the year. And I hope we can just fill it up and get a whole new batch of PAC coaches, because that's the last offering of 2021.
Yeah, that's actually what I've been doing with my family on the CPSS, is helping them notice those little tiny changes that we're making. Oh, it's just a small thing that made a huge difference. Yeah. And then I still said it was early bird incentives, but yes, just like you were saying, Rebecca, we've got a new incentive for you. If you register before September 8th is the date I got. You get 25% off that relationships guidebook or 25% off the Seeing the Gems workbook. So register, you can still get some money off those books. And then once you get that relationships guidebook, you can go to that other webinar. Awesome. See how things are connected? Yay.
See what you did there, Carrie. I like it.
Yeah. All right. So tons of stuff coming up in PAC.
You know, a lot of times people kind of take it easy over the summer, but not PAC, huh?
Nope.
Not at all. And I just want to add one thing that we talked about last week, which Matthew, I think you spoke to this last week, and you can speak to it in different ways because you're also on in the morning with TIPA. But just as we head towards the end of summer, how we are going to be doing a little substitution with some of our offerings on social media. So can you talk about that with our group?
Yeah, so as you guys have noticed that some of our live offerings have started to make a shift. We're not live as much as we were before. Live at 5 has made a shift. TIPA for 10 has made a shift. And here at Straight Up Positive, we're going to make a shift as well. So starting in August, we will go on to a schedule where the first and third week of every month, we will be on that Tuesday night, same time at that 7 p.m. Eastern, to share out with you guys the amazing gems that are out there in the certified community and some things that PAC has to offer when it comes to helping all of those folks out there who are caring for or living with dementia. So look for us starting in August for that first week and that third week, with the other weeks being off. So that'll be our shift for August.
So first and third. Now I kind of wish we could have redone that because I wish we had second so that we could be doing peace signs all the time. Now take a screenshot of that, Carrie, with us with peace signs. Okay, so no, first and third. So now I've thrown everybody off because you're going to go, oh, it's the peace sign. No, okay, no, first and third. So this is where it's going to get tricky, gang, because you know, even with 52 months in the year, or wow, 52 months, that's a long year. 52 weeks in the year, that gave us 52 opportunities to really shine a light on people in our certified community. And now we're going to have that. So it's going to be hard for us because there's so many people, so many amazing people in the certified community that we want to shine that light on and show the great work that they're doing. And That's going to be hard, but we're always still, even with that said, we are looking for recommendations. So mentors, certified community folks, we've had folks in the certified community who have shined a light on a colleague of theirs and said, hey, you should really interview this person. So we are always looking for those recommendations. Bring them on. Please do. Please do. And tonight, I selfishly recommended someone that I've had the pleasure of working with for a couple of years now, Caroline Robertson. Will you come on the screen, Caroline?
Yeah.
Caroline has worked with me and for recertifications, for certifications. And so I'm super excited to shine a light on Caroline's great work because she works with an industry, or industry is a harsh word. She works with a group of folks that we don't always hear about. So Caroline, welcome to SUP.
Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you here. Thank you for accepting the invitation and being here on a Tuesday night. Can you share with our viewers who you are and your role with Sisters of Mercy?
Sure. My name is Carolyn Robertson. I'm a registered nurse. I work with the Sisters of Mercy. I've been there with the sisters about 14 years. My official title is lead RN, but my role is very wide. I do direct care with the sisters. I also go out and do assessments of sisters who live on their own in the community. I travel, and during COVID, I went to one of the other convents and kind of stepped in. They didn't have a director of nursing, so I filled that role for a little while until they were able to hire someone, just put out fires. I mop the floor. I do a lot, a wide range of things. And one of my favorite things is I had the opportunity to go around to all 10 or 11 convents in the Southeast region of the United States and to do some dementia training for the sisters themselves that live in the convents and also the staff. So that was a really great opportunity.
So you said that you've worked there for 14 years.
Yes.
So when you were becoming an RN, did you know at that point this was the population that you wanted to serve, or did it just kind of come to you?
It just kind of happened. I've been a nurse for 20 years already. I went into nursing not even knowing that I wanted to do that. I just knew as a major it was easier to transfer out of it than it was into it. So I went ahead and started there, and luckily I liked it. So I was able to complete it. And my first job out of school was at a nursing home, just for not even a year. It was kind of killing time until I went to Guatemala for 2 years. Did some volunteer nursing there, sort of community health nursing, which was a great time.
This is something I don't even know about you. So now I feel robbed. Like, you've never told me about Guatemala. That's a whole nother conversation, I feel like. But I love, Caroline, what you just said, that I feel like we've never actually gotten college advice here. And so, Matthew, look, our viewers just got free college advice. It's easier to get out of a nursing program than it is to get in. Is that what you said, Caroline?
Right. You just go ahead and start to get, it's harder to transfer into it and try to catch up. So
I love that. That's a first time college and career advice. So boom, look, we're all over the place. So Guatemala, so you finished your RN, and was that part of like your nursing work that you went to Guatemala?
Yeah, while I was in nursing school, I knew I wanted to do something like that, go somewhere and do some volunteer work. So I connected with the Catholic Medical Mission Board, and they basically gave me a stipend and helped me get there and connected me with a parish in Guatemala. I was supposed to stay there a year, ended up staying 2 years. It was a great time. I went out to the communities and helped with clinics, did some prenatal care, really anything they needed, some education.
So in that way, you were not working strictly with seniors, but just all populations.
Right. So at that point, I hadn't really, I guess, gotten into the seniors, that population yet. But then I moved back and I became a hospice nurse. I did that for a few years. And then I decided that I did want to do gerontology. And so I wanted to get my master's in gerontology. And doing that, it was going to be hard to do a master's program and be a full-time hospice nurse. So I was kind of looking for something a little easier, something I didn't have to take home with me, you know, the paperwork and things. And again, it worked out through word of mouth. The Sisters of Mercy were looking for a nurse, and I had sort of grown up with them in a way. They were my teachers, principals, so I had that connection there, and it was just a great opportunity at the right time to join with them.
That is so cool. And so, you know, like Rebecca, I got super excited when you said that you went to Guatemala and did part of that as your work. So, and you decided on this piece of going into gerontology, so seeing more of the aging population. But what kind of population were you seeing in Guatemala? Was like a mixture or something else?
All of the above, babies to older adults. Yeah, so everything. We would go out and set up a clinic in the town, and anybody who needed anything would come. So we saw it all.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you had a chance to really work with all different folks in different times of their life, but had that calling towards more of the aging population, which, you know, we hear a lot of folks who come on sometimes are healthcare professionals, right? They say the same thing. They went and they worked with this particular population and they were like, this is it. This is where I want to be. So you got into working with the aging population and kind of where did it take you from there? Where did you head that you started to get into that realm of folks who are living with dementia?
Well, I would say that I've always had, I've always been drawn to older adults, and I think that started with my grandparents. You know, I took care of them as much as I could when they were at the end of their lives. And that, I think, sort of drew me to the hospice as well. And so I think all of that, it just sort of was a gradual progression into finding my area that I really liked. And then joining with the Sisters of Mercy and getting my master's in gerontology, all of that just kind of sort of bolstered it even more. And then eventually by finding Teepa Snow and getting energized by what I was hearing and saying, wow, this is new, and it makes sense, and it's you know, there's science behind it and it's exciting. So it all kind of took me there to where I am now.
Carolyn, I love what you said about that the Sisters of Mercy had influence in your life growing up, and then now you're able to turn that around and have such an influence with the sisters in the way that you are. And you started to segue into, how did you actually learn about Teepa and this positive approach to care thing? What led you to get certification?
You know, it's funny, I don't really remember exactly. It must have been around grad school time. I graduated in 2011, so somewhere in there I went and saw her. She had like an all-day workshop, and I was hooked from there. You know, it just was so exciting to see the rationale behind what she was saying, the practical skills. I felt like I was just doing things, trying things, but no purpose behind it, just really no direction. And finally, there was someone who was making so much sense. You know, it was all so easy to understand. It really got me excited about it, and it got me excited to try these new skills.
I think that's one of the things we hear so often is that folks are, you know, it's like, this makes so much sense. So why have we not been doing it this way? Or this makes so much sense. This is going to be easy to implement. And so it sounds like you got that first taste at that day conference, and then maybe became a little bit of a fan like all of us are and started following Teepa. And then tell us about how you got to your first PAC certification and where you've gone from there.
Yes, I think it at least a year, maybe 2 or 3 after that first workshop, I got an email, and I guess they were starting these certifications, which was exciting, because like I said, I just wanted all the information. I wanted anything I could get. So I thought about it, and then I took it to my supervisor, and she was on board, which was great. They saw it as an asset to the sisters, something that could really be great for them. So they paid for me to get my trainer certification, and that was back in 2014. I think it was towards the beginning of those certifications. So I did that. I got my certification, and then it went on from there. I was able to actually put together, using TIPA's curriculum, put together this presentation or workshop that we were able to take to the convents. And it sort of combined all 3 of the video, or the
Workshop A, B, and C.
yeah, thank you, all 3 workshops. It kind of was a combination of all 3, and we were able to use it and target it towards the audience.
Well, so you did 2014. I mean, you are like an OG trainer. That's way before I got certified in 2015. That was before Matthew or I'm guessing Carrie were even involved. So you've been around the block for a minute. But where I actually got to meet you was when you came back for a second certification. So
Right.
what got you to that point?
I think it was one of my mentors. I don't even remember who it was at the time. I was getting my recertification for trainer, and she mentioned the consultant one, and she thought it would be a good fit for me. So I looked at it, and I thought, yeah, that could be good for the sisters with all of the different convents. I could be a resource to all of them. And again, took it to the sisters, and they were on board. They saw it as an asset. So I went ahead and did the consultant certification. Yeah.
That is so cool. And so, man, you've been through a lot of education. You've done a lot of setups and degrees and things like that, where there's been a lot of training involved. And so I'm curious, it's kind of something we always bring up when we're talking to folks who have done trainings before and then got interested in PAC, got connected with PAC, certified, and then went out and started doing PAC trainings. But what were some of the differences, Caroline, that you noticed between the trainings that you've gotten in other places and before, and how maybe you might have done some trainings or educational pieces before versus after PAC, and the tools and skills and awareness that brought?
Oh yeah, it's night and day, really. I mean, the practicality of it, the examples, the visuals, the ALC, all of it makes such a difference. It's more of an experience. You're not just sitting there. They're not sitting there just listening. It's night and day, and it makes such a difference. It really, it allows people to really learn the material. Yeah.
Yes, you talked about how you took that trainer originally in 2014 and immediately implemented. We're using those workshop A, B, and C that you get as a PAC certified independent trainer, and then added the consultant a few years later. So, and I think Matthew is asking, as far as, what difference it's made. I'm curious if you can kind of drill down a little bit, and drilling down to some specifics and skills that PAC has made in your practice or in the broader organization with the Sisters of Mercy, and how you've helped. I know one of the things you've talked to me about is how you've helped other sisters know how to support those who might be living with brain change. So what kind of specific skills could you say PAC has made a difference in your practice or in the sisters in general?
Yeah, so for me, I know that it's just been a general culture change, and for me, it starts with that PPA. It starts with your first interaction, stepping into the room. You use that throughout without even realizing it. You get to the point where you're so comfortable with it, you're using it constantly, and it makes such a difference. And the ability to help others understand that it just starts at the beginning at hello, and the way you approach that itself makes such a big difference. And it's allowed sisters to understand, along with they always love the pictures of the brains and all that, because it really helps them understand what's going on, and then giving them practical skills to use. The feedback has been great. They really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's so cool. And you just going back a second ago, Caroline, you were mentioning about that PPA, and like from the moment people are coming in and how you're using that, and sometimes you're using it and you don't even realize it. And it really hits home on something that PAC tries to express a lot, which is this piece of the positive physical approach. So PPA, for all you folks out there, positive physical approach is what that stands for. It's not just for folks who are living with dementia.
Right.
It's for anybody out there, especially those who experience brain change, which we all experience brain change depending on what's going on in our day-to-day life, whether it's stress or we're not sleeping enough or we're not getting enough wellness or meeting our needs. We all have those moments, and that positive physical approach can truly be used with all of us in any moment. And what that does for our relationships, because that's what we're all about, is developing those strong relationships and being relationship first, not agenda first, which we can get stuck with. So that's so cool that you bring that up. And we don't get tired of talking about it that way either, because it's just like Frank's hot sauce or whatever. You can use that stuff on everything. We probably should be paying them like royalties or something for that. Yeah.
No,
Anyway.
I'm glad, Matthew, that you broke that down, because I was thinking, I think you're going to be showing either this week or next week a video, kind of a PAC overview video. And I just was thinking of that when Carolyn was talking, because I thought, oh, we get so caught up in what I've called before on previous episodes, this like PAC-ease or this PAClish, this language that we throw around. And we know that there might be someone who's watching tonight who just watched or just learned about TPA Snow, who just happened to run across our YouTube live tonight and are wondering, what the heck is this PPA thing? So I appreciate you breaking that down. And I'm curious, I'm going to ask you a question, Matthew. I'm going to put you on the hot seat with Carolyn tonight, because you've worked in direct care quite a bit. And I'm going to ask you both this, like, what difference does it make? Like, let me play devil's advocate for a second. What difference does it make to do that PPA in the lives of people who are living with brain change, or even those who aren't? All of us, what difference? If I'm playing devil's advocate, and you guys know I'm like a believer, but tell us what difference does it make for folks to use that PPA?
Yeah, I mean, Rebecca, for me, so my background is physical therapy, and my job in a skilled nursing facility and it was like a 140 bed facility, was to go in mostly with folks who were living there. And then we had a memory care neighborhood as well, and go in there and try to keep them at the highest functioning level possible. And I don't care who you are, when somebody walks in looking like me with a gait belt hanging from their neck, they immediately assume your therapy and tell you to get lost. And so I got a chance to go through the PAC training and learn the positive physical approach. And the techniques I learned helped me with everything I did, because it wasn't about me just going in and getting the person to participate in therapy, which was my agenda, and I needed to do it in a timely manner. But it became more about connecting with them and building that relationship and spending that time to do that. And when I did that, people liked seeing me. It was no longer a get lost here from therapy. They really enjoyed it, because that provided such a huge piece that they were missing, was that connection and that relationship. And you learn so many cool things about folks when you develop a really strong relationship and connection with them. And that PPA gave me that it really helped to flip that switch in my brain to, it's not about going in and just getting the therapy done and getting out. It was going in and getting connected with another human being, showing them they have value and purpose and they can still do things, and that I was there to support them with what their wishes were. So that really made a big difference with what I did. How about you, Caroline?
Yeah, so that initial interaction, it goes so much further than just that initial interaction. I think that really, for me, what I've noticed is a reduction in the use of medication. Just by starting that interaction off positively, everything else goes so smoothly, and the person is happier. And they understand that you're there for them, so they don't get as agitated. So it's really a domino effect. So it really is a big deal. It's just a hello, but you're reducing medication. You're stopping it altogether, which is my goal. So it's really important.
I'm going to drill into that a little bit more, Caroline. You are telling me, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but if people are thinking, did I hear her correctly? How can positive physical approach impact medication usage? Really? Really?
Well, imagine if someone comes into your room in the morning and throws the door open and time to get up. We got to do this, this, and this. I mean, what kind of mood is that going to put you in?
And Caroline, that is the sweet spot. Thank you. That is that is the sweet spot. That is the exact point of, that's us seeing it from that perspective and saying, what would it feel like if I was on the other end of that? You know what? You'd need some meds for this one right here, because I'm a little feisty, especially when I'm confused and I don't know what's going on. So that is, thank you. Thank you for explaining that, because I think we could hear a statement like that and think, okay, well, maybe that's, speaking too broadly, or that's grandiose thinking. But no, I mean, literally something as simple as the start of the interaction and that relationship building Matthew was talking about truly makes a difference. And so you're talking about that from a staff perspective, but Caroline, you've also helped other sisters know how to make that interaction and build that relationship despite changes that are happening in the brain. Have you heard back any success stories from other sisters or other staff members, not just yourself, who have implemented these tools, these skills, this awareness of seeing the brain, who have been able to kind of relate beyond dementia because of what you've brought back to Sisters of Mercy?
Yeah, I hear things now and then. They'll tell me, I went and sat with sister and we just sat together and it was good, whereas previously they may have felt like they had to have a conversation or do something or feel that pressure, but they found sort of the peace in just being, and they understood that was okay. And that's what that person needed at that moment. Things like that, just, that they understand where the person living with dementia is coming from, where they are. Just the understanding means so much.
Yeah, and you talked about those pictures of the brain, like using those pictures of the brain to show what's actually happening. I feel like for a lot of folks, when we do that with training, there are a lot of aha moments there with those brain images.
Yeah, they're very powerful, very powerful.
And so really with the next step, often with our adult experiential learning cycles, when we look at those pictures of the brain, what do you notice? And kind of leading to, can we really expect the person who is living with this changing brain to interact the way that they did before their brain was changing? Or could we expect that interaction to be the same as other sisters? And the answer is no. I mean, we should expect it to be different because of what's happening in their brain. And just that awareness, I think, makes a big difference.
Yeah, and this population is unique in a lot of ways, but they have, in a lot of cases, lived together for 50, 60, 70 years. So they really are family. and so they've known this person. They knew this person who ran hospital systems, and so it's really a lot of grieving that they're going through with their friend, their sister. And another unique thing that I found with this population is the ability to use prayer, because it is part of that rhythm, that music, that whole part of the brain that's retained, and it's something that these sisters have been doing their whole lives, and so it's such a great tool to have. Maybe if they are a little agitated, irritated, if you need something to kind of redirect, change the way things are going, it's a really great tool to have.
So you bring up such an important point that I wouldn't have had awareness of, not being raised in the Catholic Church or being around it that much, that these sisters may have lived in community, and so that element of grief. I mean, I'm thinking, in my mind, I was thinking more along the lines of strangers who all move into an assisted living or a skilled nursing facility, and it sounds like that is not the correct image of what I had in mind.
Right. I mean, we do get some sisters that maybe don't know everyone as well, but in general, these sisters have lived together, worked together, I mean, for decades. Yeah.
Yeah, so they've had that opportunity to see, as you said, the successes that each other have had, the person who they are, who they were, those skills and abilities that they had despite brain change. And one of the things that I love about PAC is that we can help see what's still there.
Right.
And so knowing each other probably helps with that versus just looking at that person and seeing what's lost. They could say, oh, wow, this sister has done this with her career, with her life, with her experience. And so maybe making those connections to the past can help with grieving.
They have those long ago memories that I wouldn't know, those stories. So that's very helpful too. They talk about when they were, had the snowball fight back in 1950, and, and the person living with dementia will remember that, so.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, Carolyn, you've brought to light just a whole new area of how to use PAC skills that we don't often hear about as much. Oftentimes it's folks who work in long-term care settings or home health care or hospitals. So you've really brought a new arena where PAC is making a difference. I'm curious, what advice do you have for someone who's considering a PAC certification?
Do it. And, even if you're not sure, just do it. There's so much opportunity that comes with it. It can be used in so many different ways. It can be used personally. My father-in-law died a couple of years ago. He had dementia, and it was an asset to have the skills that I had. It can be used personally, professionally, locally, in your community. Just so many different things that can be done with it. So just do it and see where it takes you.
Just do it. I think I've heard that somewhere before. Yeah, so I appreciate you hearing that. I mean, you saying that, and I mean, even from being one of the originals in 2014, and I'm sure you've watched Positive Approach to Care transition over time. Yeah, so thank you for that advice. Just do it. For anyone who's interested in learning more about what you do, we'll certainly put your information with this episode. But thank you so much for sharing the great work that you're doing with Sisters of Mercy.
Thank you so much. It's been great. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. Matthew, you have something. I segued into that a little bit. You've got a good video that you're going to show us, I think, tonight.
Yeah, so going off that idea, Rebecca, that you brought up, so often we do take a pause, and when we realize that we're using those different Packlish, as we say, words like PPA and PAS and PPC and all of those things, we try to pause and let everybody know, oh, this is what we're talking about. But realizing this could very well be the first time anybody's seen anything about PAC. Just the other day when I was on TIPA for 10, I threw up a poll and I asked, was this the first time you've seen TIPA or you've seen her before? And there was actually a good number of folks on there. That was the first time ever they had seen TIPA. So we thought tonight we would share this amazing video that we actually have on our website for anybody who comes on and wants to know, what is the positive approach to care? What is this whole, who is TIPA Snow? TP Snow or TIPA Snow, as we'll hear different people try to pronounce her name. But yeah, very curious about what is this. So I thought I would share where you can find that and then share the video with you guys. So I'm going to bring up the page. So this right here is our homepage. So this is where if you type in www.tipasnow.com, that it will take you to this page right here. And what's really cool is this lettering here, this group of words right here talking about a little bit about positive approach to care. You can click it and it'll actually take you to, so I'm going to stop share a second so I can make sure and get us on the screen that's coming up, onto the screen that has the video that I'm going to show you. And this gives you a great wealth of information on what PAC has to offer and different information that you may be looking for. But this video is what I'm going to highlight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click it and enlarge it and let it play for all of you wonderful people out there to give you a heads up if this is the first time you've ever seen anything about PAC.
Positive Approach to Care was founded nearly 15 years ago by TIPA Snow, one of the world's leading experts in dementia care training. At PAC, our goal is to help professionals, families, and individual care partners develop the awareness, knowledge, and skills needed to better support and care for someone living with the brain changes of dementia. We want to ensure that they not only live, but live well from the first symptoms to the very end of life. Employees and independent contractors of the Positive Approach to Care team are scattered all over the U.S. and Canada. Along with TIPA, they have delivered well over 8,000 training sessions and certifications across the globe and have conducted over 500 webinars. In addition to in-person and virtual certifications, PAC is committed to offering care partners many free resources that include individual consultations, hundreds of informative YouTube videos, and downloadable educational materials available on the tipasnow.com website. There is no cure for dementia yet, so until there is a cure, there's a positive approach to care.
I just love that video. Being the heartbreak person I am, I mean, every time it hits me, and I'm sure I've ran up the views on this video like a bunch playing it. So I hope that really helped someone out there who this is the first time they've ever heard, or the great thing is this is a recording that's going to stay on YouTube. Somebody who watches it later, I hope that helps them get a better idea of who we are, what we have to offer, all of the free stuff we have out there for you. And if you have a question or something that you would like to talk to us about, you can put it in the comment section below on this YouTube link, or you can go on to the website at www.tipasnow.com. And there's a little chat box in the bottom. You can talk to someone live, or you can email us. It'll give you an email where you can connect with us. So we'd love to hear from you if you are curious and want to know more. But like I said, I hope that helps somebody out there who wasn't aware of us, to know that we're out there and we're ready to support you in any way possible.
Thank you for sharing that, Matthew. You know what it made me realize I miss so much? And this virtual world that we've been living in for the past year or so hasn't really brought that same level of filling the cup, I guess I would say, is when Tipa was hugging that gentleman in the audience, I just started thinking, man, I miss a Tipa hug. I miss being in person with her, and I'm so thankful that she's poured out her offerings so generously and has allowed Positive Approach to Care to pour out so generously throughout all of this. And we can't wait until we can be back together in person. But even without that, we've made strides forward. We've been able to make a difference in the world for people who are living with dementia. And that says a lot, where a lot of companies, a lot of organizations have hit a long pause button, and our servant leader has not done that. So yeah, that just kind of made me a little sappy from the head first member of the group. I got a little saps there. Another thing I miss, Matthew, was we've been doing these encouragement cards, and I was thinking maybe we could wrap up with one today, because it's just a fun way to bring to light this awesome product that we have, these encouragement cards that you pull one, and I'm going to say 99 times out of 100, it's going to apply to you that day. It's so bizarre. So you got anything good for us today, Matthew? Do you have your cards with you?
I do have my cards with me, so I'm going to pull one at random here. So I speaking of encouragement, I picked the encourage out of those in the moment support cards. And this one says, your efforts made a difference today. So for me, that reminds me, I actually had an opportunity to go to an in-person training today with one of the learners that I helped to certify, who went through all 3 of his workshops today with the group for the first time outside of doing it with me. And it just reminded me, again, like you were talking about, Rebecca, that piece of how PAC, no matter if it's virtual, no matter if it's in person or whatever, doing something with that PAC knowledge and awareness makes a difference in some way to somebody. And the ahas people got in the audience, and this is what I'm going to do going forward, that's different, or that's a shift. So that's what it brings to mind for me. What does it bring to mind for you guys?
I'm sorry, Matthew. My amygdala went here as you were dropping that wisdom on us, because my little friend Tat wanted to contribute. Can you read it again for me?
Yes, yeah. So it was, your efforts made a difference today.
Yeah. So I to deflect a little bit, I thought of that before my amygdala rose with the dog barking in the background. I hear that and I appreciate that, and I believe that for myself, but I also want to shine that back to Caroline to say, man, a way that I never even thought of until I met her, that she could be influencing the world for dementia in this arena. So I'm going to shine it over to Caroline and say, your efforts are really making a difference. So curious to hear what Carrie and Caroline think about that encouragement card too.
Well, thanks, Rebecca. Actually, I want to take that back to you, because I'm very much an introvert and was not, super excited about speaking for a long time, but you were very encouraging, and I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. And you've taught a lot of us tonight how you've making a difference, and it's really cool. How about you, Carrie? What you got for us? You're making a difference in the world today.
I wish we had smell-o-vision, because right now my Aunt Betty is helping my mom make a rhubarb pie, and the whole house just smells like a pie. And just that little difference of 2 people helping each other, one who has a diagnosis and one who has a physical issue, but they both have equal weight in building this pie and enjoying each other's company, and just making sure everyone realizes it's just that little thing that you could do to help someone feel engaged, to help someone feel connected, and it just changes the whole world.
I love that, Carrie. I wish we also had smell-o-vision, because that sounds amazing. But also just that point that you're making, that they are pouring into each other's lives and making a difference versus what, some stressed caring situations look like. And we talk a lot about the five senses and what a difference that positive smell, that positive interaction, those things make a huge impact. Seems small, but it's so big. I love that. Thank you. So thank you, Caroline. Thank you to my fearless hosts for being here for another show. We will be back next week before going into our first and thirds in August. Yeah. Anything else you guys have to add?
Thank you so much for coming on. Please share this out. If there are folks out there who could use this could be a difference maker for them, or don't know about what PAC does, and you feel like that could help, please share us out there. Because the more shares, like a ripple in a pond, the more shares that go, the farther out we can get, and the more we can help folks out there who are really needing it.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you back here next week for another straight up positive. Until then, stay positive.
Bye, everybody. And bye, Tut.